They say that they should have spent half of this money on economic growth since the country is still grappling with the continuing effects of COVID-19. We have the details of this report.
While Smart 24 TV reporters were on their duties in the heart of Kampala, they came across a couple of Ugandans who are not satisfied with how the government is financially handling the funeral arrangements of the former Speaker of Parliament. They say that 1.2 billion shillings shouldn't have been spent.
Speaker Jacob Bolanya, nze nganze ndaba sente ze bamutaddeko zibadde sente nnyingi. Ate nga omuntu wa wansi anyigirizibwa nnyo.
We should know that this money was to go for decoration, which was about 12.1 million, fuel 109 million, construction of podiums 3 million, ushering 2.6 million, security 158.5 million, funeral services at 493.3 million Ugandan shillings, and others like religious leaders, health services, and ceremonies. They say this is too much for a funeral, yet the country is going through hard times.
Esawa ya leero ngaffe nze ndi muvuzi wa boda boda naye amafuta ganyigiriza nnyo kubanga sikyasobola kuyingiza mitwalo egi etaano gyensula nsasulawo kyokulya kya ssente kati bw'obala lita y'amafuta nga n'osanga tekyasobola kunkolera mitwalo ebiri. Ndina famire, amasomero ga bbeeyi, buli kimu kya bbeeyi, kati sabbuuni gye bakolera wano yennyini bagitunda nusu kanaana. Kati bwe mmanyuse n'emitwalo ebiri, emitwalo ebiri nenzijjako ssente ze ndeka waka nga tebalina na sabbuuni, kitegeeza nze ngenda sigala nga sirina kye nnina ng'omuntu wa wansi. Kati n'ogenda okwesanga omuntu afuna omwezi obukadde 3 ate bamwonoonyeko biliyoni na biliyoni. Kati nze omuntu wa wansi bongera kunyigiriza nnyo okunzijjamu ssente ziri ate nga nange ze ntafuna. Okitegeera bwe mba sizifuna kitegeeza sijja kunywa amafuta. Ate amafuta omusolo guli ku mafuta mba nsasula omusolo ate gwe naawe kennyini n'ofunawo ssente zikola kye zikusasula. Ekyokulabirako sooka olabe piki gyenvuga omupiira guugwo noba ogutunuzamu kamera. Lwaki tetulina ssente ebintu bya buseere ate ssente boonoonyi ssente nnyingi.
This money can do quite a lot for the nation. Let's take a case study of buying land for vendors who are still on the streets. Buy land that costs 900 million Ugandan shillings, which can accommodate like 2,000 vendors. We might see vendors in business leading to a reduction in the fight with KCCA law enforcers.
Ensonga esooka esente ze bakwata ne baweereza obuwumbi bwaweereza ku koona yafudde. Nandibadde nsuubira nze nga nze Omunnayuganda bakwate ze ssente mu batembeeyi be bagoba ku kkubo okukolerawo bazimbe obutale bateeremu abatembeeyi basobole okukola ki okukolerawo mu kyo ky'okubagobaganya ku kkubo ate baleme okubaawo we babateeka okukolera so nga ate nabo balina obuvunaanyizibwa balina famire balina abaana be baweerera.
Honorable Muwada Nkunyenji also appears on the same line with the people, where he said that they would have invested this money into the budget to construct something for remembrance instead of using a big budget in such an economic crisis.
It's not practical to explain, and it is hard to convince anyone that the burial is costing us 1.2 billion, and of course together with other associated costs. It becomes a dilemma, especially when you mention of this cost at a time when individual and civilian Ugandans are facing escalating prices of essential commodities. So it becomes a very tricky moment to explain and to account for. But it remains a lesson. It does not ably bring out the legacy and the values the late Jacob Bolanya stood for. When he was elected as a speaker, he ably said he wants Parliament to be a people's parliament. Of course, Parliament, as a people's parliament, will focus and prioritize on the views and aspirations of our people.
However, Honorable Robert Kasolo, Member of Parliament, says that if the government declares a funeral as a state funeral, then it means money should be spent.
I want to tell Ugandans that the late Right Honorable Speaker, he has been a speaker. Now, government in its wisdom decided to declare a state burial. The moment they declare a state burial, it is money. It's not a state burial for talking. It's a state burial entails a lot of things. And all those things to be fulfilled, money has to be spent.
Citizens punching in their views regarding the barrier ceremony. The barrier is taking place tomorrow in Omoro. Well, details regarding the Electoral Commission of the Omoro district, as they will be looking for a new MP for that particular region in the country, is that the EC, the Electoral Commission, is also preparing for the election process of a new Member of Parliament. Well, besides that, we will be giving you all the details of the barrier of the late Speaker to Parliament tomorrow. Let's move on to the other story, as this particular one takes us to Ramadan and commodity prices. As we are in the period of fasting for the Muslim community, we're also still in that for the Christian community who are still under the Lent period. And as we speak, Ramadan has both a positive and negative impact on the business in general and the financial markets. Although productivity is quite lower and bigger decisions are often put off, as increasing consumption drives growth and higher prices. While talking to some of the people in Nakawa market, they expressed their views with Smart 24 TV regarding commodity prices and the Ramadan fasting season.
Various people have expressed their views, saying that commodities are very high even before this period of Ramadan. For example, matoke, cooking oil, Irish, among others. Muslims already found price commodities already high apart from yellow bananas, which are effective. A bunch of banana was previously at 2,000 to 5,000. Recently, it costs 10. During the period of Ramadan, the Muslim buyers are very few, yet they are our biggest customers.
The businesses are highly affected and the gonja ripens up because Muslims are no longer eating that much. The businesses are not going well because there are a few challenges like the fasting season of both the Christians and Muslims, but we have to adapt to the new changes.
Ramadan is a holy month of fasting, mental, emotion process for followers of Islam. It is celebrated as a month during which Prophet Muhammad received initial revelation of the Holy Quran. Hassan Waswanduga, Smart 24, Prime Edition.
Hassan Waswanduga. Well, it is still Ramadan, and for the Muslims who are just breaking their fast, Assalamu alaikum. And as we continue with driving business and more details regarding news here on Smart 24 with the Prime Edition, let's move on to the other report, and this particular one takes us to Capital Markets Authority, as it has actually come out to train more of the scholars. Now, Key Benefits is looking at investing in stock, as this time around the Capital Market Authority as well as the ICEA Insurance have embarked on training students on how to invest in stock exchanges. When you look at the experts say that the best part of the stock investment is that one gets good returns if his or her stock company is doing well. At times, when a merger happens, investors are rewarded with the instant growth in the stock value chain. Let's have more of this story.
And those of us who are not interested in sports, we say, it seems news has ended. Today, go and check.
Although stock market is seen as an avenue of raising up the required capital, it is doubtful whether stock markets can perform efficiently in developing countries given the shallowness of the financial sectors, huge costs and the poor financial structures. Capital Markets Authority has therefore embarked on training students on how to invest in stock markets to reveal the risks and most especially their benefits. The training was at Cavendish University, Kampala.
So every day, money is being given to MTN. Now, when Ronald says that this is patient income, what he's actually saying is for me to buy a share in MTN, and those shares are still available, so you can still buy. Are we together? I am actually saying that I like the management of MTN. I like the way they do their business. I may not be an employee of MTN, but when I get a share of MTN, a unit of capital in MTN, I am now saying that when MTN is dividing their profits, give me some.
Experts say that in line with the continued improvement of efficiency of the process of trading and reduction of risks, technological innovations remain paramount. The Securities Depository System Act was passed by Parliament in 2008. However, its implementation started in 2009.
Going to ask me, so Capital Markets Authority and Uganda Securities Exchange, what is the difference? Uganda Securities Exchange is where I go when I want to buy and sell shares. I no longer call you to my office. I go to a market. It's called the Uganda Stock Exchange, Uganda Securities Exchange. Now, at the Uganda Securities Exchange, shares are bought and shares are sold. It is part of the capital markets, okay? Supervised by Capital Markets Authority. Now, when you talk about capital markets, what are you talking about? You're talking about the market where companies go to raise capital. Are we together? The market where companies go to do what? Raise capital, a share. So I now have a unit of capital. Why am I looking for a unit of capital? I'm looking for a unit of capital because Ronald called it passive income, patient income. I want to purchase a share in MTN because every day I am giving MTN money. How am I giving them money? I'm buying airtime. Eh? And other times I'm receiving money from my family. Are we together? Now, that money doesn't come free. I could have got on, in our days, you'd get on a bus and you'd all be marching to where? To the bus station to say that there's a conductor who has come with my money. Now it just comes on your mobile phone. So that has to be.
Stocks can be a valuable part of your investment portfolio. Owning stocks in different companies can help you build your savings, protect your money from inflation and taxes, and minimize income from your investments. But still, it's important to know that there are risks when investing in stock markets. Like any other investment, it helps to understand the risk or return relationship and your own tolerance for risk. Pedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV.
And well, those are sounds of Pedersen Mumbere regarding matters to do with training in investment, stock, bonds, and many more. How are you saving for investment, or you are saving for spending? All right, now let's get into the other details of the news. And this time around, it takes us to the hotel industry, as stakeholders in the hotel industry have appealed to government to reduce some of the taxes levied on them. This, according to Susan Muhwezi, who is the chairperson of the Uganda Hotel Owners Association, says if taxes are not reviewed, the industry is most likely to collapse. Take a look.
One of those key sectors that are inevitable for any foreigner is the hotel industry, and this is because anyone who enters a country needs to find a reputable place of comfort both for resting and dining, and amongst those key places are the hotels. And this is arranged according to the stars, which range from 1 star to 3 stars.
Grading, that's what, it's when you've done the grading and classification that you give these stars.
Before COVID-19, the hotel business was one of those lucrative businesses that hotel owners say would contribute much. But due to the outbreak of the pandemic, business was lost, though it was not only in Uganda.
So, are you building a 5-star? Are you building a 1-star? Are you putting up a 3-star? Are you building a lodge in a national park? There are different requirements.
Hotel industry is one of the great contributors to the economy of Uganda today, and this is seen in the number of ways, as Muhez puts it.
Hotels pay taxes. Right now we are complaining about how much we pay. We pay over 18 taxes, you know, to the government. That's quite, we also provide employment, especially for young people, for the youth, for women. I mean, we buy food, agricultural products. So the hotel sector contributes so much to this economy.
However, just like any other sector, Moez says that much as they pride in paying taxes to government, they make a fundamental contribution. The sector is overtaxed, and this has become a strong threat to the owner.
Well, VAT now had been exempted because of the lockdown, but we pay income tax, we pay taxes for lifts.
She further says that the industry is one of those that support greatly the country when it comes to development. However, she appeals to government to come out and rescue the hotel industry.
I also want to appeal to government to continue to support the tourism sector and the hospitality sector and tour operators and travel agents so that we are able to revive this sector, because it's very important for the country, not only that it contributes to the GDP, but it provides employment to our people, and encourage the government to support the sector. And I also encourage all Ugandans to visit this beautiful country that God.
Those intending to invest in the hotel industry, Mwezi strongly advises where the business is a key pillar.
It's been quite a busy time for me. I'm the chairperson of Uganda Hotel Owners Association and a vice chair of Uganda Tourism Board. Of course, the hospitality sector, just like the tourism sector, has.
The hotel industry is one of those sectors that employ over 10,000 people annually and also contributing over 7% to the GDP.
Quite many hotels in the country, and quite many of them are feeling the pinch during the COVID-19 pandemic. But currently they do seek for taxes to be reduced, the taxes that have been levied on them to be reduced. Now, this time around, let's talk commercial tree growing, as timber is a type of wood which has been processed for firewood. And the end products like chairs, tables, among others, which are capable of yielding a minimum dimensional size. There are various types of timber grown in Uganda like bamboo, beech, cane, cedar, mahogany, pine, plywood, softwood, sawn timber, and then the wrought timber. Now, this particular report is regarding a venture which seems it's becoming popular with farmers considering its financial and environmental benefits. Let's have the details.
The commercial tree growing has an objective to ensure a sustainable commercial forestry industry for socio-economic, profitable, and environmentally sound in Uganda. The industry of timber is an informal business which illegally works, and as an association, they are trying to streamline and work with government and private partnerships to ensure that they operate legal and formal.
If you wanted to build your house and you wanted to buy timber to roof it, most probably you would go to one of the merchants' timber yards, where you are likely to find what we call illegal timber. Illegal because you do not know where it's coming from. Illegal because it's not been processed well.
The most indigenous wood comes from Madagascar, Southern Africa, Angola, Zambia, Mozambique, and Democratic Republic of Congo, among others in Africa. Cutting trees in the RC, it's unsustainable, illegal, formal, and isn't developmental in the industry of timber, hence create a cycle which is unsustainable.
The timber majorly that comes from outside Uganda and specifically coming from the Congo is hardwoods. And yes, that timber is of good and dense quality, but it's not a sustainable business because the people who have cutting the trees in Congo are doing it unsustainably, and therefore they are doing it illegally. What we want to do here in Uganda is we are growing trees and we want to harvest the trees and do it sustainably. Grow the trees, harvest the trees, process the trees, and then replant, because that's what makes it a cycle. That's what makes it it's a value chain which we want to turn into a cycle, so that it's sustainable. So you're planting, you're establishing plantations, you're managing them, you're harvesting, and then you're replanting, so that it's a cycle. So and that's what makes it a business. That's what makes it an industry. So you can't compare this, what we are trying to do here, with what is happening in the Congo. At a certain point in time, after a given number of years, the wood, the trees in Congo will get finished.
Government says they want to turn the value into a cycle that eats for a long-time investment. It won't only benefit the Ugandans, but also Democratic Republic of Congo, because trees are soon getting done.
Corporation, the ESC, we're not sure what that's going to really mean for the timber trade in Uganda, but the thing is, we won't run away from what we are trying to do. We are trying to build an industry in Uganda based on the components and elements that are globally recognized. We want to be able to turn the value chain into a cycle. Now, if our brothers in Congo would want to are ready to learn from us, it will be very good for the ESC.
He encourages farmers to adopt growing indigenous trees like pine trees. With the Ugandan climate, which is favorable, trees grow across Uganda and from western Uganda, eastern Uganda, shores of Lake Victoria, among others.
We also have are encouraging our growers to plant and grow what we call indigenous trees. And essentially those are the trees that people are going to Congo to harvest. You're talking about the mahoganies, you're talking about the musizis and all the other hardwoods. So Uganda's climate and soils can also support the growing of indigenous trees. And so it's one of the things that we are trying to encourage our growers here to do.
As a growing entity, where are you growing these trees? Because
trees grow all over Uganda. It is said that actually Uganda is number 2 in having the best climatic and the soils that support tree growing. We grow trees everywhere, and for us as UTJ, we have 8 clusters in West Nile, in northern Uganda, in eastern Uganda, in what we call the Victoria cluster, which is along the shores of Lake Victoria, central Uganda, Albertine. We have what we call the Mubende cluster, and then southwestern Uganda. So trees in Uganda grow nearly in each and every area.
Kavma says the timber industry contributes to the value channel through creating job opportunities, which is a great contribution to the economy of Uganda.
In Uganda, definitely it contributes to the economy of Uganda. We are building an industry that provides jobs to Ugandans along the value chain, whether it is in the nursery where the seedling is sown, the planting and the growing of trees, the harvesting and the processing, that whole value chain provides.
He says that there are various challenges encountered, like less funds, overtaxing by government, bushfires, lack of financial literacy, and low prices in the timber, among others.
Because we are building the industry, we are pioneers. Every time you're a pioneer, you're starting up something, you suffer from lack of knowledge, from stakeholders who are yet to understand what we are doing, and including some government officials. So it's something that is growing. The other challenges are the high cost of inputs, of course the misunderstandings that arise from what we are doing. Therefore, the desire for government to tax us. Yes, yet commercial forestry is a long-term investment. You're putting money in a plantation for 15, 17, 20.
All right, now commercial tree growing in the country is still one of those sectors in the agricultural industry that is growing in leaps and bounds. Well, let's move on to more of the details regarding our bulletin tonight. As this time around, we look at preparing students for the available job market. Many students are still going to school. Quite others are studying while working. But youth unemployment is a serious problem on the African continent, where the share of the population of young people between the ages of 15 to 24 is rapidly growing, but not in conjunction with the job market. In developing Uganda's economy in entrepreneurship management, MTAC reveals how they prepare their students for job creators.
The problem is that unemployment crisis is not easy to solve. There are few openings large enough to absorb the redundant youth population. MTAC government agency trains students in Uganda while following aligned national development plan programs to reach Vision 2040, hence job creators, though most times only about 6,000 new jobs would be created in entrepreneurs' economy, which would still leave an army of hundreds of thousands without jobs. The head of marketing and communications at MTAC, Alexandra Chokwijuka, says they recruit students and train them, hence being equipped with more skills and knowledge to enable them to start businesses.
That if we can give a more practical approach to training so that we only prepare not job seekers but job creators, it will help the country. So our courses are more practical in the sense that every person who does a course here, every course, whatever course you do with the ICT management or whatever, there's a segment of entrepreneurship. And this is entrepreneurship that is not just theoretical, but we do a lot of clinic sort of approach to when it comes to, for instance, setting up a business. Does one have the knowledge, and also can we task them to set up what we usually call now real life projects, because every student must do something that in real life, if they went out to the business world, what could they do to generate income and stuff like that.
Alexander adds that they do follow up on their students, hence helping them plan for interventions, hence government benefits with their efforts.
We want to find out how our students are doing so that then that can inform into our next interventions given the students that we are training, and also at the end of the day, how are they contributing towards the national development plan, because as a government institution, again, we must align our efforts to the national development processes. So we always have to follow up and be sure that we know what the students are doing and how they are doing and how that fits into our vision and also the vision.
Speaking to some of the students that enrolled at the institute, they reveal how prepared they are for the job market.
I've been training with MTAC and basically have all the skills. I guess it will be better, it will be easy for me when I move out of the school. It will be easier for me to get the job.
Institutions like this one, we do much of the practical bit of every course than the theoretical part. That's why now if you have to find outside there in the job market, we are marketable. Like, I have the content, the practical content, you have the theoretical content. So during those interviews and of course my presentation, it will be just awesome, So like personally, who is doing ICT, the reason why I actually opted for MTAC is because I tried out ICT in high school and but now we are here we're at high school doing what is computer bit of it, like things you have never seen physically. But then at the end of the day, you're going to ask yourself, what if I go in for an interview and I'm supposed to create a website? You don't have any content, you don't have any clue about it, but you call yourself an ICT student. So I had to look for an institution which can offer the skills.
Uganda has one of the youngest and most rapidly growing populations in the world, and preparing them for productive jobs is a social and political priority for the government. About 53% of Uganda's population is younger than 15, well above sub-Saharan Africa's average of 43.2%. About 500,000 people are expected to enter the labor market every year. Hence, the number of new entrants into the labor force will be growing and will be younger in the next few decades. Currently, 64% of the unemployed are aged